Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Balanced Vibes podcast. I am your host, Kirsten. And today we have a fun topic. We're going to talk about post workout meals. And we're going to cover several different things. When should we eat our post workout meal? And also, what should be in it? And also, I'm going to give you a couple of ideas of how to put together your post workout meal. And you're going to get all the protein in it and carbs. You can also learn how many calories are in these meals that I recommend you. So, of course, these meals are adjustable. So, if your goals are higher, you're just going to have a little bit more of these ingredients that I'm giving you. And if your goals are lower, then you're just going to adjust accordingly. But to give you an idea, I'm going to give you 4 meal ideas and then 2 snack ideas that you can have after you have done, after you have finished your workout. So, first of all, let's talk about this idea that you absolutely have to get your post workout meal in really, really quickly, or you will lose your gains. Sometimes I see this, and I think it's actually just the supplement industry's way to get us buy more supplements, to buy protein shakes. But protein shakes are definitely not the only food that you can or should have after your workouts. There's so many other foods that you can have, and also there's nothing wrong in waiting a little bit if you need to after your workout. So there's this idea that you almost like you lose the gains that you're supposed to get from a workout if you don't get your meal in right after, your shake in right after. And that's why I sometimes see people drinking protein shakes already on their way out from the gym, because there's this fear that it's almost like the workout didn't count if I don't get that shake down quickly. And like I said, I think it's just a way to sell us more stuff, because of course protein shake is the only thing that you can literally like take to the gym with you and have it right after. You're way less likely to bring like a container with your steak and rice to the gym and eat that on your way home from the gym. But most of the time, you are okay if you wait a little bit. You're like, you can wait that 15-minute drive home. You don't have to eat immediately. And I think this is a big myth that we've been kind of taught, that it's absolutely necessary that you get your protein shake in the second you put your barbell down after your last rep. But this definitely does not have to be the case at all. And of course, there are studies that say that when you eat right after, like the second you're done, then you replenish your glycogen, your muscle glycogen. But don't you replenish it later either? Of course you do. Like if you eat 30 minutes later, you still get that, right? It's not going to go anywhere. So if you are somebody who's really worried about it, maybe almost like obsessed with it, like I have to eat the second I'm done, then you can relax a little bit. Now, that said, there are 4 types of people who I would recommend that they do eat as soon as they are done with their workout, and I'm going to tell you about that next. So first of all, if there's an athlete who maybe works out twice a day, so we're talking about like elite level athletes here, and if they don't eat right after they are done with the workout, and then the next workout is in 3 hours, when are they going to eat then? So of course they have to eat immediately, so that the next time they are moving their bodies, they are not overly full. But of course, I think most of us here, most of you who are watching this or listening to this, are probably not elite level athletes, and you are regular everyday people who want to be fit and healthy and have a good muscle definition and good health. So if you're not training twice a day, you don't necessarily have to be super, super worried about that post-workout meal immediately. But if you are an athlete, then yes. Then secondly, if you are somebody who has a very high calorie goal, so this is just more practical to eat right after your workout, because if you have a high calorie goal, let's say that maybe you're on a bulk because you want to put on a lot of muscle, or let's say that maybe you are a bodybuilder and you absolutely need a lot of food and you have a very high calorie goal, it's just more practical to eat right after your workout, because if you don't, when are you going to do it? The next meal that you're going to have, let's say that you missed that post-workout meal. Now, the next meal that you're going to have is going to be really high in calories, really hard to get down, and also probably not very digestion friendly because it's just too much food. Now, if you are that person who has a high calorie goal, then yes, this is going to be helpful for you. The third category of people who should eat pretty quickly after working out is those who worked out fasted. Now, generally speaking, I don't recommend fasted workouts for women because you get so much better results and you also keep yourself hormonally way more healthy. So those who have been doing a lot of like fasting and just intentionally thinking that this is somehow better, or that they lose more body fat or more weight this way, no, just like stop doing it and eat before your workout if you can. Now, I know that there are cases when this is not always possible. So let's say that maybe you had one week, like one day you were traveling somewhere and that was the only day you could do your workout, and you just had to get it done before you had a chance to eat. Then that was your fasted workout, and now I definitely want you to eat after you are done. And then lastly, who I recommend that gets that post-workout meal in pretty quickly is somebody who is recovering from long time under eating and has done a lot of fasting and just general damaging of their metabolism. The goal with these people, and there are a lot of people like this in my audience, the goal is to get your normal hunger signals back and kind of get your body's trust back, so that you can now kind of start telling your body that we're safe, right? You don't have to be freaking out. You're balancing your hormones. You are feeding yourself regular meals, so your body kind of finds that balance again. So if you have been doing a lot of fasting and damaging your body and keeping yourself on low calories, then I definitely recommend that you eat pretty soon after you are done with your workout. But generally speaking, a little bit more about timing. So let's say that you are just an average person who wants to be fit, who's not like an elite athlete, who is not a bodybuilder. You are a healthy and fit person and you want to get good results. Then if you ate a good meal, let's say 2.5 hours before you worked out, and you feel good working out and going into your workout, you have good energy because you ate 2 hours before and you had all three macros on your plate, because remember, we're eating carbs too here, right? Then you may not be like starving hungry right after a workout. So you had your meal a couple of hours before a workout, then you did a workout, now you're going home, and now you're just going to see, okay, I'm getting a little hungry. I'm going to eat now. But it doesn't matter if it's like 30 minutes after or it's 60 minutes after. And you definitely don't have to eat like 5 minutes after a workout. You don't have to bring that shake to the gym with you to have it right after the workout. So it depends a little bit about on like how like when you had your pre-workout meal and what it was like. So if it was good, decent meal, then there's no need to rush and just like overthink the whole thing. Now let's talk about the next thing, which is what is the best meal to build muscle and what you should have in it. So overall, I would say that your post-workout meal is not that different from your regular meals, because you still want to have all three macros on your plate. And it is, of course, very important that you have high protein and good amount of carbohydrates. So I would say at least 30 grams of protein, but I would give that recommendation also to a regular meal. So it's not only on workout days, you still want to have high protein in your regular meals too. And 30 grams per meal is really the minimum recommendation that I have. So now let's talk about these all three macronutrients in more detail and why they matter in your post-workout meal. So protein, I think most people probably know that this is kind of like the number one, because like I said earlier, we often think about that protein shake. So this has to be the most important. And yeah, protein is definitely important. It does start the muscle protein synthesis for you, and also starts the growth process of your muscles, which of course is the goal. And you should be eating at least 30 grams of protein per meal. Or if you maybe aren't that hungry, you had a good solid meal and you just go with a snack, then at least 20 grams of protein per meal, but don't eat less than that, right? So 30 is a really good goal if you have a full meal, or 20 grams if it's like a smaller snack type of meal. Then carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are also really important for you. And the goal with carbs is to replenish your glycogen levels, your muscle, and also help the protein to do its job a little bit better. And carbs definitely help with recovery. I think if you've ever tried low carb eating and you just know that you don't recover, you don't get the muscle building results, and your body's constantly in this like healing mode, and you're not getting stronger, you're not getting fitter, you're not getting really the health benefits that you wanted. So carbs are important. And also carbohydrates can help to increase the growth hormone levels more than protein alone. So the combination of carbohydrates and protein is important. And what are the best carbs that you can have in your post-workout meal? These are the ones that are a little bit higher in their glycemic index, such as potatoes, white rice, oats are great, rice cakes, Some fruit is fine as well. So keep in mind all these foods and aim for a similar amount of carbs like have protein. So let's say you had about 30 grams of protein. Now you want to have about 30 grams of carbs too. And of course, you can have more. You can have 40 protein and 40 carbs, or it doesn't have to be so exact. It can be like 40 protein and 30 carbs. You can play around a little bit, just give you an idea what it should look like. The idea is that you don't eat like 40 grams of protein and 10 grams of carbs, for example, because you want to recover faster and you also want to just feel better and feel more energized. And remember, you do need carbohydrates also for your muscle building. And lastly, let's talk about fats. So of course, fats, because they are higher in calories, they're always going to be a little bit lower than your carbs and protein. So don't maybe have like a huge like pile of like really fatty ribs and then just like a tablespoon of rice with it. You don't want anything that's super high in fat, but there's also no need to be afraid of fat. I know sometimes people say that really slows down your digestion and the absorption of carbohydrates, for example, and you should avoid it. In my opinion, you don't have to avoid fat completely, just keep it on the lower side, so it's less than carbohydrates and protein. So just kind of use your guidance and your just understand that it's going to be a little bit of fat, but it's not going to be a huge fatty meal. So this is basically the point. All right, so now I'm going to give you 6 ideas for post-workout meals, and I'm going to tell you exactly what is the carb content, what is the protein content, what is the overall calorie content in these meals too. And you're going to adjust this based on your meal. So as you probably know, I don't do meal plans. I don't believe in meal plans. So I'm not telling you that you have to have 5 ounces of chicken and 100 grams of white rice and you cannot have anything else. So you cannot have 7 ounces of chicken or you cannot have 200 grams of rice. You get the point. You're going to adjust based on your needs. So first 2 meals are about 500 calories each. And if you know that you need more, right, you need 600 calories or 650 calories for your meal, then it's just going to adjust accordingly. You're going to eat a little bit more of all of these things that I'm telling you. Or if you know that your goal is a bit lower, then you're going to have less. So these are just to give you an idea. And as always, please don't tell me that these are too low, these are too high. So-and-so says that this is not right, or I should be eating more. Like I just said, everybody has different goals, but I want to help you. And that's why I'm giving you these ideas. Okay, so the first full meal that's worth about 500 calories would look like something like 5 to 6 ounces of chicken, about 100 grams of cooked white rice, and a couple of 100 grams of broccoli, for example, and then 50 grams of avocado. So that would be a well-balanced meal because you got your protein from chicken, you got your carbs from rice, you got a little bit of protein and mostly carbs from that broccoli, and then you get some fat and some protein and some carbs from avocados as well. But of course, this is a very minimal amount. So chicken is the main protein and rice is the main carbohydrate here. And this meal is going to give you about 40 to 45 grams of protein and the same amount of carbs and about 10 grams of fat. And your calories are going to be around 500 if you have that meal. So well-balanced, nice meal. Second, and kind of similar idea is 5 to 6 ounces of beef. You could have 200 grams of potato. Then you could have like asparagus, a couple 100 grams of that, or some other type of green vegetable. And again, 50 grams of avocado. So here, obviously, beef is your protein, and there's a little bit of fat in there. Potatoes, this is your carbohydrate. You're going to have some asparagus, so you get lots of fiber, and you're going to get carbohydrates, and then avocado is fat again. So this is going to be very similar to the previous meal, so about 45 grams of protein, same amount of carbs, and then 10 grams of fat, and your total is going to be about 500 calories. Then the third option, and this is a little bit lower calorie now, you can make like an omelet where you put together 1 egg and then 100 grams of egg whites. And then you're going to have a couple of slices of turkey, for example, and some spinach and peppers. So you're going to make an omelet like that. You're going to cut up your turkey and then vegetables, and then you're going to whisk together the eggs and the egg whites, and then you just make an omelet like that. And now when you have like a slice of toast, I personally really like Dave's Killer Bread, then this is going to be a pretty good complete meal. And again, like I said, adjust your portions a little bit if you need to. For example, this whole meal is about 30 grams of protein, close to 30 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of fat, which gives you about 420 calories. The next one would be a simple oatmeal, but we're going to add a couple of things to it because, as you probably know, oatmeal is mostly carbohydrates. So when I make oatmeal, I almost always make it with so that it has some Greek yogurt on top, and also I might put some protein powder in it. So, for example, in this meal, I have 40 grams of oats, then I cook that, and then I put 1 scoop of protein powder. And of course, the protein content and carb content in your protein powder is different based on what kind of powder you use. But generally speaking here, so you're going to have your oatmeal, 1 scoop of protein powder, and then when your oatmeal is cooked, you're going to add 100 grams of Greek yogurt to it, maybe 30 grams of raspberries, like little raspberries. You get nice fiber from there, and then 10 grams of peanut butter. I always like peanut butter on everything. It's so funny. Just had a conversation with one of my clients, and she said, "I love peanut butter on everything." And I said, "I feel you. I know." So this is your oatmeal recipe. So now from this, you get about 43 grams of protein. So remember, I added a scoop of protein powder, added 100 grams of Greek yogurt. I like to use, I don't do the zero fat yogurt. I use 2% or higher. So 43 grams of protein, 38 grams of carbs, and 12 grams of fat. So total is about 430 calories. Now, 4 meals, shared these, and then there's also going to be a couple of snacks. So for times maybe you had like a bigger meal before you worked out and you don't feel like you need a large meal, but you need something. By the way, I always want you to eat something post-workout. Doesn't matter if it's like 5 minutes after or an hour after, but have something. Don't go to bed without eating. So the first snack is very simple yogurt bowl. So you could have 170 grams of Greek yogurt. So 170 grams, because this is usually the serving size. It's usually 3/4 of a cup. So you have your Greek yogurt. You're going to have 100 grams of banana, and then 1 tablespoon of nut butter, which is about 16 grams. And this is going to give you 23 grams of protein, 22 carbs, and then 100 grams of fat. And the total is going to be 280 calories. And then lastly, I do talk about protein shake now too, even though I don't think that this is not the only food that you can have. But here it is in case you need something really quick. So you can make a protein shake with 1 scoop of protein powder. I like to use whey protein powder. Then put in there like 100 grams of banana. I like frozen bananas because that keeps the protein shake cool and it gives it also a little bit thicker texture. Then also 16 grams of peanut butter, which is about 1 tablespoon. So you can, of course, put that into the blender or you can drizzle it on top like I like to do it. And so I also like to add a little bit of cinnamon to it. So when you do that, 1 scoop of protein, 100 grams of banana, and 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, then that's going to give you about 22 grams of carbs, 29 protein, 9 fat, and total 285 calories. So for first ones were like whole meals, full meals, and then last 2 were more like snacks if you feel like you want something a little bit smaller. So I hope this helped you. And to sum up, I want to say that the timing of your post-workout meal really depends on what your goal is, and also on when you had your meal before your workout. And also important to know that your post-workout meal is actually not so different from your regular meals that you have in any day, right? So for example, the first 2 examples that I had for you, chicken with rice and avocado and broccoli, or then the second one was beef and potato and asparagus with avocado, or the omelet that I gave you. These are not like super different from your regular meals anyway, right? You just want to make sure that you definitely have all 3 macros in them and that you have a high protein and carb content. And yeah, always important that you have three macros on your plate. No need to skip any of them. They all matter. All right, I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any ideas that you want to share with me, any topics that you want me to cover, any comments, then definitely let me know. Also make sure that you watch the next video, and you can see that in the corner of this video, and also subscribe. The red little button is in the corner of the video too. When you subscribe, then you don't miss any of the new videos that I'm putting up there. So thanks so much for being here today, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.